We're down to 10 seconds, just about now. All right, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's time. Everybody up. Well, let's hear it for these kids.
I always call it a little slice of Americana. You know, the town comes together and has a pumpkin festival. The pumpkin harvest does affect our economy here. There certainly is a realistic impact. I mean, we get 70,000 people for our pumpkin festival. And there's just something pleasant to be said about being able to be the capital of something. And so we can claim being the pumpkin capital of the world. My name's John Ackerman, and with my wife Yvette, we own Ackerman Family Farms in Morton, Illinois. I started contracting with the local canning factory, Libby's, for pumpkins starting in the early 80s. You know, I've heard rumors, I can't, of course, attest to this, but I've heard people talk about terms of $1 million of product running through that plant every day.
I work on the fields, and I pick up the pumpkin and I roll the pumpkin.
So how many hours are you in the field?
Sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 16 hours. Sometimes I get exhausted, but I used it already. I worked 10 years here already. Well, my dad's worked here like 20 years ago. When he was 17, he came over here to work. That's why with his brothers and everything. Yo vine para acá desde que tenía 4 años. And I went to school here and everything.
In Princeton?
Yeah. Pues ahí trabajan de lunes a domingo. We don't have no day off. Otra vez vuelvo como en junio. Vuelvo otra vez en junio y luego ya, otra vez hasta noviembre. Pero trabajamos de lunes a domingo todos los días. No descansamos ni un día.
I worry about what would happen if they have more restricted access to the states. I have seen the horror stories of farms in Georgia and Alabama and Arkansas where the migrant workers got scared and they took off, and there was nobody to harvest those crops. There's produce that rotted out in the field, and there's pictures and documentation of that. So what happens when that workforce is gone and there isn't anybody else who is willing or able to do that? It's hard work, but I'm a realist. There are jobs that some people just don't want to have. And without our migrant workforce, I'm not sure who's going to do it. And if you don't want to be paying twice as much for your produce, you don't want to have to buy in a workforce at 2 or 3 times minimum wage just to get something out of the field. Well, I know there's a lot of politics behind this, but by and large, workers are trying to do the same thing we're trying to do. We're putting food on the table and providing a living for our families. You know, that pumpkin pie can represent all kinds of things, and Thanksgiving is about thankfulness and about families, but there's families behind the story. You know, there's even in that pie, it represents a lot of people.